For more than 30 years now, the Sentineal family has been operating horse and carriage businesses in the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake. Jeff Sentineal of Queen's Royal Carriage currently holds 2 licenses, and Fred and Laura Sentineal operate 3 licenses under the banner of Sentineal Carriages. Joining us now on The Source to talk about the conflict between the carriage operators and the protesters, we have Laura Sentineal. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you.
Laura, it's been a tough 3 years or so with these protesters being very vocal on the streets of Niagara-on-the-Lake. How has it affected your business?
Well, it's surprisingly enough, it really hasn't affected our business or certainly our support. It does affect our drivers. It's really hard for our staff. Our staff and horses, they're bonded. They have a connection, and they're always so concerned for their horses and what somebody might do or try to do to interfere with the horse to cause a problem. So it can be very stressful for them, and in turn it's stressful for me.
An interesting point, because the protesters would tell you that the horses don't come first to you because they feel that you are abusing the horses by putting them to work. How do you answer against that?
Well, you know what? We care about these horses, what we're doing with them. It's good for their health, it's good for their mental state. The connections with their humans are really important to them. They're happy, they're healthy. The amount of work we do with them is enough just to keep them in shape, to keep their hearts, their muscles, their tendons, their joints. In that regard, they're very much like us. You know, if you sit around eating bonbons all day, well, what's going to happen to you, you know? And the horses are very similar. The work they do, it's not really work. I mean, I can pull a carriage down our stone driveway, and on a good day, I can even get up to a little trot. For a 1-ton horse, they barely know what's behind them, but they do know that their driver is back there, their partner, and it's really a cooperative effort, and they really thrive and enjoy that. They love being fussed over. They love people petting them and giving them little treats. You know, occasionally we'll bring in a horse that makes it very clear to us that, you know what, they don't like this and they don't want to do this. And that's fine. We will work very hard with the horse, get to know them, get to figure out what their genre is, what their place in the world should be. And we'll facilitate that. We'll find the best situation possible for them.
Have you invited the protesters to your farm early on? Did you think of that?
Oh,
to see how well you treat the horses?
You know what, here's the thing, and I think this is the one takeaway point for this interview and your listeners, or your viewers, I should say. You know what, they don't care about the horses. They really don't care. They're willfully ignorant of the horse and what's good for a horse and what's bad for a horse, and really they don't care. That's not part of what they're about. They're a part demonstrating their rights and having their voices heard. We're just a means to an end. We're convenient means to an end.
You have another organization in town, Locals for Carriages, that have stepped up and tried to support you, tried to defend you, have even raised some funds to help you in your fight. How did that come about, and what is your relationship with them?
They just showed up one day when Fred and I were standing there watching this huge thing take place and feeling rather bewildered. And it sort of went from there, and they've been wonderful in helping us fundraise because, yeah, it's a good thing we never got into this business to make money because we fulfilled that. And so the money they've raised has helped us with legal advice and other elements. And, you know, most importantly is education. You know, I've heard things like, you know, we're enslaving the horses and, you know, we're doing all these horrible things. And, you know, the best way to combat misinformation is with real information. So they've really been pivotal in that. and you know, people understanding what's going on, you know, what we're about, and what the protesters' end goals are about, which is, you know, they want to take away our choices and freedoms. And that's kind of a scary thing. As a parent, you know, you decide how you're going to feed your children, clothe them, what forms of entertainment, recreation. You know, they kind of want to take all that away from us and, you know, have everybody live to their very narrow parameters. So it's important to sort of get the facts out there, and then people can decide for themselves if they agree with it or not. And if they don't, hey, that's fair. I don't want to go skydiving. If you don't want to go on a carriage ride,
Right.
That's fair.
Do you feel supported by the town? Do you feel supported by the police in this?
Oh, certainly the town, as you know, our Lord Mayor and Council, absolutely. The community, 100%. The police are in a strange position, not a strange position, but their mandate is to keep the faith, sorry, keep the peace. And their interpretation of that is somewhat, at times, been a wee bit different from my own interpretation. But I understand where it's coming from. I understand that, you know, the courts are sometimes rather dismissive, and I, like every other taxpayer, don't want to see a lot of money go into naught. You know, if there's a big process and lawyers and courts and, you know, for nothing being accomplished, I understand that. But that's why we've been working so hard with the Ontario Ford government, and particularly
Got Bill
Ernie
156
Hardeman and Bill 156, which is a province realizing that this type of activism has become a major problem. And so we've been working very hard on that. Still not at the end. We'll see how it comes out.
So the bill has passed, but we don't know how it's going to be enforced?
They expedited one part of the bill pertaining to trucking of livestock, but the rest of the bill, which really comes down to the regulations, that is still in process. The public comment just closed on it on October 15th, I believe it was. We were really encouraging people there. Again, Locals for Carriages and their monies helped us place a lot of ads and media and trying to get the word out there for people to make comment, because it all goes into the mix.
Laura, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be right back with more on The Source.